Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to TED Talks Ball. We've got a special Thursday afternoon edition, a Cowboys week edition, a Josh Harper edition. Welcome, Josh Harper. You guys may know him on Twitter at Josh Harper, or JHarp, the second on Twitter. And then at Josh Harper TV is his YouTube channel. And I've also got the link to the YouTube channel in the description. So, Josh, how are you doing this fine Thursday, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. Any day that there's football on or we get to talk ball, it's always a beautiful day. So I'm doing great. I can't complain.
And do we really count Bears against Commanders?
Hey, the only reason why I'm counting is because I have a fantasy team and I have a few Commanders on the team. So that's the only reason.
Who you got going tonight?
So I'm in a 2-quarterback league. So I have Sam Howell, and then I have Terry McLaurin as well. So
yeah, Scary Terry. He's something else. Yeah. And to think we could have had him if we didn't take Jalen Hurd. How crazy is that?
Those three together?
Yeah. Oh my God, it'd be insane. And Sam Howell's been doing well, right? I mean, he's been putting up some good numbers. Not a lot of TDs, but like good, couple high 200s in yards, TD, no interceptions, playing some good ball. It seems like.
Yeah, outside the one game, he had like 4 interceptions thrown versus the Bills. So
yeah, Bills are stout defense. I mean, you just saw what they did to that vaunted Miami Dolphins offense. Did you watch the game, Josh?
It's crazy. That Bills defense is definitely improved from last year, which is scary. Scary.
I mean, I tweeted out after the game that I thought that the Bills looked like the best team in the NFL after that, because Josh hung 48 on the Dolphins D, and I said he could have put that Josh. Sorry, Josh Allen. The other Josh, not the important Josh who's here with me. The other Josh Allen. He hung 48 on them, and I was saying, geez, he could have put up 60 plus if he had needed to. That I think they had that 48-point lead with over 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. So easily probably 2 more possessions for them in that game if the Dolphins had given them any reason to. And it sure seemed like at the beginning it was like 7-0, 7-7, 14-7, 14-all, 21-14. It just seemed like it was going to go back and forth all day. And all of a sudden the Bills defense showed up, and it was just like the water ran dry for the Dolphins offense. Pretty amazing to see. Now, the one thing I will say, I did my power rankings this week, and I did not put the Bills number 1, but that's just because Tre'Davious White, unfortunately, tore his ACL in that game. I know they're getting Von Miller back this week, which will take some of the sting out of that. Added pass rush can always help to make up for deficiencies in the secondary. But I think losing Trey White is a bigger loss than getting Von Miller back, especially who knows how much Von Miller really has left in the tank at this point, right? He's like, 34 or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think he'll still be special on strictly passing downs, but as far as him setting the edge, coming off the ACL injury, being effective in the run, I don't know. And then Tre'Davious White, he's arguably a top 10 corner in the NFL. So when you lose somebody like that, it's tough. It's a blow. So we'll see how they bounce back from that, or how they pad that hole up. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think he might even be arguably top 5 corner, Trey White. He's amazing, no doubt. But yeah, I mean, the Bills, they look pretty amazing. Josh Allen playing under control, playing boring football, I think he called it, trying to be more of a dinker and dunker, if you will. But he's always got that cannon in his bag, and he could always heave it 70 yards if need be. And that's just such an amazing thing to hold over our defense, that ability to do that. Real quick, just want to call out some folks we got here in the audience. We got Bryant Culp in the house. Bryant has his own YouTube channel. Everybody make sure you check him out. He's a huge Jake Moody fan. On his show, his overlay, let's see if I can do this right, has Moody on the top and bottom corners of his overlay. A couple from college at Michigan, a couple, I think, from training camp. So no one's probably happier. I think he wore a Moody jersey to the home opener against the Giants too. I think somebody was Bat Bashar from 49er Minder was telling me that. So that's pretty cool. And then we got Hello DK 1.0. So DK would make me think Seahawks, but he's got a Cowboys helmet on. So welcome, Cowboys fan. Cowboys fans are welcome here. I've heard that some Cowboys creators will kick out Niners fans. I will not kick you out. I mean, if you do something cuckoo, I will. But if you're cool and you just with some sports banter, you want to say you think I'm wrong, I'm not looking for an echo chamber. I'm not looking for people to say, "Oh, Ted, you're so great." I do encourage dissenting opinions. Welcome them. So welcome, hello, DK 1.0. And, good luck this week. What I'll say to all Cowboys fans is I'm just hoping for, a really good game and no injuries, since we can't root for each other to win, obviously. It's one thing I think Niner fans and Cowboys fans can agree on. We've got Sports Junkie in the house saying go Cowboys. Wow, we got good Cowboys contingent. Maybe that thumbnail I put out with the Cowboys colors is bringing the Cowboys fans. I just did it because I get bored of doing red, gold. I'm like, I'm going to do some Cowboys colors and just spice it up a little bit. Randy Daytona in the house, the great Randy Daytona, one of my favorite audience members. He actually helped me come up with a name for my Monday show with Pedro from Australia. And I was thinking of something, Napoleon Dynamite, vote for Pedro. And so he came up with I vote capital Ted for Pedro. And I'm like, oh, I got to do that. So those overlays are being made up. Yeah, I think people will like that. It's kind of fun. So we got a name, and Randy helped us coin it. So thanks for that, Randy. Shout out, props to you. I will be shouting that out to you for many moons, I'm sure. So, and he says, here we go. He says, I'm subbed to Josh already. Yeah, everybody make sure you subscribe to Josh. He's just getting started on his YouTube channel, and he's got great content. He played at Florida State. You played with Devontae Adams, right?
Yep.
Did you play with Derek Carr too then, right? You must have, right?
Played with Derek Carr and Devontae Adams at Fresno State. So
yeah,
top 10.
And you hold a current record there. Is that at least one, right?
So I'm top 3 in catches, touchdowns, and receptions. But of course, we have Devontae Adams there. When you have Devontae Adams there, it's tough. So I'm second behind Devontae Adams in touchdown receptions.
That's pretty freaking insane, though. That's awesome, man. Congrats on that.
Appreciate it.
So cool. Yeah, amazing. So should we start off talking a little bit about? We haven't talked all season. Last time we talked was you had been at Raiders camp, and obviously things are a little different since then. I was telling Josh backstage that I issued a sort of an apology to Brock, a mea culpa. I was wrong. I said at least through the first 4 games, I've been wrong about Purdy, because in the offseason I called him mid. And in the last 2 games, I've had to adjust my ranking for Purdy upwards. I had him 14 to 18, which is kind of 16 in the middle, mid, for the first few games this season. And then after the Giants game, I was like, I think he's more 11 to 15, not quite top 10. And now after the Cards game, I've moved him on up to 8 to 12. I think I would like to see it versus better opponents, and we're going to see one this week. So that'll be really interesting.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm kind of in your boat. When I saw him in person, of course, it's practice, and I'll get killed for saying that's why you don't, look at practice and you look at the games. Yeah, but it was such a small sample, right? It was such a small sample size in the games, and we seen him. What he's doing this year, he did last year, right? He controlled the game. He manages the game. They get the run game going, and when everything is so perfect for him, you try to compare him to other quarterbacks like the Mahomes. And can Mahomes do this? Or that's where I messed up. He's not a Mahomes. He's not a Josh Allen, and I'm not going to knock him for not being that, because what he does really, really good, right? He controls the game. He gets the ball out of his hands. He gets it to the right players and let them work with it, right? So he's a top 10, top 12 quarterback in my book, and it was my mistake by trying to compare him to those quarterbacks that throw for 300, 400 yards and these strong deep passes. So he's in a class of his own, and he's doing really good this year. And like you said, I'm excited to see him go against Dallas, which is the first like big test that I think this year. So I'm excited to see how everything plays out and how Brock Purdy does.
No doubt about it. I'm excited to see it too. Yeah, I mean, and also the thing to keep in mind was, this summer he was coming off that elbow surgery. So we weren't sure that his arm would be back to 100%. I mean, honestly, I'm going to be honest. I'm not still sure that it's 100%. He was able to make a couple deep throws against the Cards, but let's face it, the one to Ayuk was underthrown, and he had to step into both of them. Like, I just don't know that he can make deep or zip type throws off platform. I don't know that he ever could before. I don't know that he can now. But he's definitely looking better. I mean, to hit a 42-yard pass of any kind, it's great. 34-yard pass is great. The out left, that was a back shoulder to Ayuk was really nice. There was another out right to Ayuk that was really nice. So some really nice throws and not a ton of yak, which, I beat him up for the yak against the Giants. Yeah. And I got to say there wasn't much yak against the Cards. So hats off there for sure. Randy says, even if Purdy loses Sunday night, he's still good. Yes, absolutely. He's good. It's just people are saying elite, Randy. People are saying better than Brady, better than Mahomes, better than Montana, better than Josh Allen. And that's where I draw the line. People say you hate Purdy. I'm like, no, I really like Purdy. Maybe I'll even add an extra really. I really, really like Purdy. But I hate the hyperbole. That's what I hate that's being spewed about him, because I just don't see that. He has these great stats. Yes, part of it's the system. Part of it's our weapons. Part of it is just inferior competition so far this season. But we'll see what happens as the season plays out. I'm definitely open to changing new information, new opinion. I've always said that. And I'm good to say, I'm good to go with that. Alberto Soto's in the house saying, what up, fam? Randy's saying the loser of this game will likely have more turnovers. Yeah, the Cowboys D has forced a lot of turnovers. That's been a big key for them in their victories. People are just saying hi. We got Butterfly in the house, new audience member. Welcome, Butterfly. Thanks for sharing it out. We appreciate that. That's awesome. Come on in. You're welcome, and we're happy to have you. Better now that you're here, no doubt about it. Alberto says, I was just one of the Cowboys on one of the Cowboys content. The volume, yeah, they said no. Niners. I mean, every group has some soft folks, but Niners content creators pretty much want to hear any dissenting opinions that's not like rude or ridiculous, delusional. You're going to want to hear it. You want to hear. Last thing you want to do is sit there in an echo chamber and just be like, "Oh, you're great, and that's an awesome idea," and then just be wrong. And some would say that's what happened with Trey Lance. Let's be honest. I mean, like Josh and I both like Trey Lance this summer, but Trey Lance is a little different because he's TBD, not with the Niners. Obviously, he's a bust for the Niners because we traded up huge to get him and we sold him for traded him away for peanuts. But it's, but for the NFL, he's not. He's only got 5 starts, and we never saw him with CMC. And we see CMC is like the freaking MVP this year. He's taken where he left off last year and seems like he's added an extra notch, taking it to another gear, 6th gear or 7th gear, or whatever you want to call it. And then he barely played with Kittle too. So I'm not ready to say I was wrong about Trey Lance yet. So that's just wrong for now, right for now with wrong for now with Purdy, wrong for now with Lance. But both of them are still TBD QBs, in my opinion. They're both young, have a lot of time left to grow. That's a lot of talking, so I'll let you go for a minute here, Josh.
I agree. Trey Lance, I mean, we were going against the grain, but I saw something that could have been special, and I wanted to voice that opinion. He got killed for it sometimes, and especially when he got traded, it was like, yeah, that's why you don't look at practices. So yeah, we're definitely not just let's go with the hype and the wave of things and agree with everything. But yeah, we're here to voice our opinions, and even if it's goes against what everybody thinks, I'm going to say what I see. So
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I said what I saw, which was Lance was the best QB in camp. I understood why Kyle installed Purdy as the starter because of what Purdy did last year, going undefeated in games that he finished and playing very well. There was a ton to love already, even as a 2022 with Purdy. But the one I didn't understand was installing Sam Darnold ahead of Trey Lance because I didn't think Darnold played better in the camp practices. And I definitely saw Lance flash in that Broncos game. I mean, Crocky even said it. If Lance could play consistently like he did in that Broncos game, there's no quarterback on this roster who can touch him. Now, maybe he would change it after seeing what Purdy's done this year. I don't know, but that's what he said after that game, and I clipped it out. That's on my timeline. I've posted that a bunch of times. Butterfly is asking if I know Mitch. I think you must mean Mitch Kofsky, who runs Hardcore Sports. That's one of the channels that I stream to, in addition to my own. That's up there, so you can see my show there most of the time. Unless I'm on someone else's channel and streaming, then I stream to my channel and Twitter only. But yeah, if you met Mitch Kofsky, definitely he's a good guy for sure. Got Red Jet Shell in the house saying, "Hey everyone, welcome Shell, glad to have you." Carcast has his own YouTube channel. Tony Pollard is healthy again from last year's divisional round when he went out with an ankle. He is a serious weapon. Yeah, I mean, he had a very similar break to what Trey Lance had, basically fibula, when Jimmy Ward tackled him from behind. Josh, I said that I thought we might not have won the game if Pollard had stayed in. I'm not saying we would have lost, but just that we could have. He's a big difference maker for them. And once he went down, it was basically just CeeDee Lamb. And, they had Dalton Schultz, but he's not a difference maker. He's not like someone who's going to take the game in his hands and, put the team on his shoulders and carry him.
Yeah, anytime you lose somebody who, with the ball in their hands, any touch that it could go all the way, no matter where you are on the field, that's a blow. So yeah, I mean, he's healthy now. We're definitely going to have to focus on him because of how dynamic he is. He's like their version of McCaffrey. I know McCaffrey's on another level right now, and nobody's touching him.
No, Pollard is very good. He's a great dual threat, very effective dual threat running back.
And he can do the same type of things that McCaffrey does for us. Pollard can do for them. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on him. The defense is going to have to focus on him, and try not to let him have any of those game breaking type of plays, which he's capable of. So we'll see.
Yeah, and then they got another guy that I had a draft crush on, named Hunter Lepke, who is the fullback out of North Dakota State. I wanted him. We ended up with Jack Coletto. Sadly, he just got cut off the practice squad, so I don't know if he'll be back in a 49ers uniform again. But Hunter Lepke was the athletic freak version, not as polished as the jack of all trades, Jack Coletto, who was out of Oregon State. But yeah, I wanted Hunter Lepke. I was sad. I was really sad we didn't get him, and even more sad when the Cowboys did get him. I just hope we don't see much of him. I hope he doesn't do well against us. That would be a double whammy when the draft crush.
Is he on the active roster right now?
He is. Yeah, he's already been doing good things for them. So, yeah. And so Randy says, to be fair, Mahomes is only Mahomes because he started out on the Chiefs. He starts out on a bad team. He has no Super Bowls. Brock is the same. Doesn't mean they're not good, but a nice team and coach don't hurt. Yeah, I mean, for sure, Mahomes had a similar situation with the Chiefs where you've got Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, prime Kareem Hunt. You could argue that group of weapons was almost as good as ours. I'm not going to give it as good because we have more depth. We've got Juice, we've got Ayuk, we've got Jennings, and even I hate to say Elijah Mitchell because he's out injured again, but when he plays, Elijah Mitchell is a difference maker. But the big difference is that Mahomes had the 31st defense in the NFL in 2018, and he dragged that team to the AFC Championship, and they only lost because Dee Ford lined up offsides. So, and also the thing I love to say, what do you think about this, Josh? Andy Reid was Kyle until Kyle passed on Mahomes.
I mean, that's a fair statement. That's a fair statement, right?
Yeah.
Andy Reid, he's won a lot of games, been to the playoffs.
He couldn't get it done. He couldn't get it done
until he got Mahomes, and now he has 2 under his belt, and I think they'll eventually get more when you have Pat Mahomes. I mean,
I don't think this year though, unless they trade for a weapon. I've got them down around 6 or 7 in the league right now.
They need a receiver
because
bad.
yeah, Kelsey's great, but you need more than one dude to get it done in this league, in my opinion. And last year they didn't have any more elite people, but Juju and Hardman were really solid.
They were
And
solid.
I think they're really missing those guys.
That makes Mahomes that much special. Like Juju and Mecole Hardman as your 2 and 3 receivers, and you win a Super Bowl. That's
incredible. It really won me over. I always wanted to see how he'd do without Tyreek. And then also without Kelsey. We did see that week 1, though. No Kelsey, no Chris Jones, lost to the Lions. And not that the Lions are a bad team. They're one of my better teams. You know, I got them 4th or 5th in the NFC. Solid playoff team, I think, this year. And they're getting Jameson back. I don't forget what the JMO, I think people call him.
Yep, Jameson.
So that should help them a lot. And they should be getting Emmanuel Mosley back, too, our corner. And then if they somehow CJ Gardner-Johnson, I think, is done for the year. But we thought that about DJ Reed, and he came back in like December. So if CJ Gardner-Johnson was to come back too, that could really help them. He's a real difference maker at safety. A big reason why the Eagles defense isn't as good this year. That they lost all their linebackers. And of course they lost Javon Hargrave to us, who I've been saying could be Charles Haley 2.0 in a good way. You know, like we lost Haley to the Cowboys. They won 3 out of 4 Super Bowls. We only won the third one, because we had Dion that year in '94. And that's another conversation too, which we can talk about, like the cards game for the Cowboys and stuff. But let's do some of these comments. Or did you have more that you wanted to talk about the Mahomes?
I mean, yeah. Just to double back, like Mahomes makes his team good. Like going back to him having Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, what is he doing this year? What is Juju doing this year? Not much. What is Mecole Hardman doing this year? Not much. That's the Mahomes effect. He makes his players around him really good, and that's why I think he's a great. He's going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
Yeah, I think so too. They're definitely the greatest now, and one of the greatest ever for sure. I think he's in almost that top 5 list already.
Yeah.
Redjet Shell says Ted's Speaker of the House. LOL. I love it, Shell, but honestly, I'm kind of pisses me off a little, because I'm here to hear Josh, and I hope everyone else is here to hear Josh today. And so I'm going to try and zip it a little more.
Both of us.
Yeah, no, but I mean, people who tune in, they've heard me say some of this stuff repeatedly. So I definitely want to focus more on you, if at all possible. So that's a good note. I mean, it was a compliment, but also I was like, oh, like, shut up. Sagarnut says, with you, Ted, thought the game might be different last year if Paul. Oh, okay, with you. All right, cool. Yeah, if he stayed healthy. Yeah, I'm not saying we would have lost. It's just that whole thing of like, Niner fans love to say, oh, well, if Purdy had stayed healthy, we would have beat the Eagles. And first of all, I disagree that we would have. I just would say, I think maybe 50-50. I think these are two very evenly, matched teams. Whoever's the ball last, or, whoever makes a big defensive play at the end, probably wins the game. And so then, but I'm going to say, if you do want to play that game, then I play the game of we might not even have been there if Pollard had stayed healthy. And so that's all. Not that the Cowboys would have beat us, but there was a few big plays in that game. Pollard getting injured. If I'm picking a top 3, it's the Kittle circus catch, which clearly could have gone either way. And then the Diggs dropped interception, right? 3 pivotal plays in that game. If any one, or especially if all 3 go differently, probably a different result. At least not winning by as much. I'll say that, if not losing. So, let's see here. So we got Redjet Shell says, even though Dallas is 3-1, they're very much in the conversation for a good reason across the board.
Yes.
Yeah, and I kind of alluded to that. I have been getting in trouble on the timeline for making excuses for the Cowboys. I mean, I've been stating facts is what I've been doing. I've been being an unbiased football fan, and like whether it's a team, the team that I love, the 49ers, or a team that I hate, the Cowboys are one of my most hated teams with the Seahawks and the Eagles. I'm going to be honest about them, though. That's my whole thing. It's like, I'm going to give my unvarnished, I'm going to not let my emotions cloud my logic and reason, at least as much as I can. I mean, I guess it's impossible for humans to do that. We're not robots, right? But, with the Cowboys, with the Cards, they were missing 80% of their O-line, including Biotish, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and the other Smith, Terrence Smith. And these are like basically 3 All-Pros and another really good offensive lineman who's just young, who might be an All-Pro himself. And so it's like people don't understand like what a huge drop off that is. How the Cowboys O-line, when healthy, is one of the best O-lines in football, right there with the Lions, right there with the Eagles. And so it's not just the step down of talent to the next men up, 4 men up, not next man up, but next 4 men up. But it's also the continuity on an offensive line is so important that they play together to know what the other guy next to him is going to do in any given situation. And so I was saying that. And then also they lost Trayvon Diggs the Thursday before, which gives you basically one walkthrough on Friday to try and adjust to that. And I think that was a big thing. And I don't know. I think you can see it by what happened the next week with the Patriots. They got everything together. They got Biotish and Zach Martin and Terrence Smith back, or whatever. Not Terrence Smith, but the younger one. And then all of a sudden, it's 38-3. They smash the Patriots and give Bill Belichick his worst loss of his head coaching career.
Dallas is really good across the board. What I think they could do better, I think they could help Dak better. Like Dak is not a drop back quarterback. Don't put the team on Dak's back and try to have him go win the game. He's not that, right? We've seen it. He's not that. They need to run the ball more. Focus on their defense. Let the defense control the game. Run the ball, control the clock. Those type of things. If they do that, I think they'll be better, especially in the playoffs. But I think they'll be better as a team. Take the ball out of Dak's hands, and this is my opinion, and just from seeing past games, take the ball out of Dak's hands. Rely on the defense, rely on the run game, and then get the play action passes going. But I just feel like they put too much on Dak's shoulders, and he's not that guy. So, I think they need to help out Dak more or move on and get a different quarterback who can drop back and pass, because they're too talented. They're too talented as a team across the board to be this team that gets into the playoffs and loses the first game, right? So they need to do something around Dak or help him out scheme wise.
That makes sense. Now, as far as that offensive line goes, which will help Dak a lot, Cowboys fan Greg was telling me that if Tyron Smith plays, it'll be the first time that the 5 starters have ever played together. So as good as this line is, we've never even seen how good it could be against us on Sunday. That's a scary thought. So we'll talk D-line too in a minute here. Just wanted to I guess we can talk. I mean, there's no reason why we can't just talk about it. They added Leonard Hankerson, who's a big, like Vince Wilfork, kind of 2-gap, space-eating defensive tackle. They drafted a guy named Mozzie out of Michigan, who's another run stuffer. And everybody panned the pick because it was 27th overall in the first round because he's not a good pass rusher. And they're just sort of like, well, we didn't pick him to be a pass rusher, guys, And then I guess they have Osa Ozigizua. I think I'm getting closer on that one, but you can just say Osa if you want to keep it simple. Who's a pass rushing defensive tackle, and then you're putting that with Micah Parsons, who's up there with Bosa as the top edges with T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett, and then they got DeMarcus Lawrence, who's a longtime great edge player and was top rated at least 1 week recently that I saw. And then up there with Micah. And then also they had a young guy, Sam Williams, who had about 8.5 sacks last season. This may be the best defensive line in football too. So they say games are won in the trenches. I think the Cowboys have an edge on us in both trenches.
Yeah, possibly. Our interior line has been doing really good. And I know Bosa has been getting double teamed a lot. That's why we need that other side, the other side of the defensive end. To do better and get some pressure on the quarterback, so it can take some pressure off of Nick Bosa, who is still in my book the best edge rusher in the game. Close. I mean, Micah Parsons is close, but hey, it's still Nick Bosa in my book. So So yeah, it's gonna be a dogfight. I like somebody said in the comments like, yes, let's get a lead and have them put the ball in Dak's hands. That's gonna be our best bet, right? So if we can do that, I think it's gonna be a long night for the Cowboys.
There you go. Yeah, I agree 100%. Alberto Soto was saying that I believe that we could stop the run game better this year than last year in the playoffs. Yeah, our run D is pretty stout this year, and teams are running against us the least of any defense. Nobody wants to test our front seven. However, the converse of that is true too. The teams are throwing against us more than any other defense because they don't sweat our back four. And most of them are solid. I mean, Huff's solid, Gibson's solid, Charvarius Ward is solid. It's even Lenore. It's Isaiah Oliver at nickel who's getting abused, and Ambry Thomas when he goes out and Lenore goes to nickel. Ambry's on the boundary, excuse me, and that neither of those guys have been good. The other thing too is I think Wilkes is playing a lot of off man um, coverage, and I think Charvarius Ward excels at press man coverage up straight up on the line of scrimmage. So that could be hurting his ability to be his best. But I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, shout out to the interior, our Eric Armstead. Even Kinlaw he's had a better year this year. And then Hargrave, they're stopping the run. And that's just not the interior. That's across the whole board. The front seven, Greenlaw and Warner. So I think yeah, if we stop the run, which I think we are, like I said, they're like Randy said, they're giving up 50 yards per game, right? That should scare some teams to not run as much and put the ball in Dak's hands. You know, if we can make them throw. I know Demo is pretty solid. I know Travarius Ward is really good, and our safeties are really good. But Isaiah Oliver has been a kind of a weak spot in our defense if we had to pick one, right? So I mean, if the Cowboys fall behind and start picking on him, I don't know. I think we'll have to make a change or something. I'm not too fond of Isaiah Miller or Isaiah Oliver and what he's been doing this year. But I mean, he hasn't. We're still undefeated, right? But again, this is the first test that we have against a really good Cowboys team, and I'm curious to see how he steps up. He's a vet, so we brought him over here for a reason. I'm curious to see how he takes the challenge on, because I think they will focus on him and get after him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is like you're saying, we're playing with big leads, and you play a different style of defense. It's harder to tell in games where it's close or if you're actually trailing what the D might look like. So I will give us a little bit of a pass there, but definitely all off season I was saying, God, I think we're going to miss Jimmy Ward a lot more than a lot of people want to admit. And then I was saying, Isaiah Oliver is much cheaper, so Isaiah Oliver could be a better value. Just because he costs roughly half. I think he's like $2 or $3 million compared to 6 or 7 for Jimmy Ward. It's pretty easy to be a better value when you're so much cheaper, but I don't even think he's a better value, unfortunately. At least not yet. And maybe he'll grow into it. Maybe it's just growing pains. We'll see. But so far, I really miss Jimmy Ward, and I think the Texans are really glad to have him. So that's kind of sad. And then you mentioned Kinlaw. Yeah, he's doing great, and it was great to see because in my 9 camp practices I went to, the best Niner player was Brandon Ayuk, and look at what he's doing. He's like the highest rated wide receiver in the freaking NFL right now.
Yes.
And he played like almost the whole Rams game hurt, and then didn't play the Giants game. Imagine he still has 16, 20 plus yard, no, 10 plus yard. I don't know. I gotta have to look up the stat.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua has 22. Yeah, it must be 10 plus yard catches or gains, whether it's a run or a catch, because Puka Nacua has 22, CMC has 20. There's a bunch, all the people you'd expect at 19 and 18, and then at 16 it was Ayuk and Bijan and one other guy below. But bottom line is, I was saying if Brandon didn't get hurt against the Rams and played against the Giants, I have no doubt he'd be ahead of Puka Nacua more than 22 10 plus. I mean, every catch he's had, basically, he's had 21 catches that were all either first downs or TD, 22 that were first downs or TDs. So
him and Purdy have great connection going right now, and it's only gonna get stronger. Like you said, if he wouldn't have got hurt against the Rams and he played against who was it? The Giants, was it? If he played against, or did he?
Yeah, Giants.
The Giants.
Ayuk missed the Giants game.
Like
yeah.
Statistically, I think he'll be top 5 right now in the NFL because of how that connection is.
The one thing I would fade about the Giants game was that was the blitz game where they set the record for the highest blitz rate, and that's going to favor Debo, Kittle, and CMC a little more than Ayuk, whose routes take a little bit longer to develop. But still, yeah, he would have gotten some. It's not like they would have probably shut him out. James Durnall in the house coming to us from the UK says Cowboys suck. I know that's just rah-rah. I know we don't actually think the Cowboys suck. They're a pretty legit squad, I think. I think we'll see. I think it's going to be a close game. I do think we'll win, but I think it'll be a really hard-fought battle. And if there's a mistake either way, that could really cost either team, I think. I actually think both QBs will throw one interception. That was my prediction for the game. So we'll see.
I mean, it's top 2, top 3 defenses in the league. I'm not going to knock them for throwing a pick. Just keep it to one. Keep it to one, not multiple interceptions.
There you go. Ayuk snatching ankles. Yeah, he was great. Got Bebop Jones in the house. He said T.O. chose Ayuk over CeeDee Lamb today on 95.7 The Game. I love it. I've liked Ayuk better than CeeDee Lamb the whole time because while their numbers were similar for a while, CeeDee Lamb was getting way more targets always than Ayuk. Ayuk was doing so much more with less. So I'm glad to hear that, Bebop. Thanks for letting us know. Good to see you. Hiroski is saying puke A. I don't know what that is. Ted gives too much love to the Cowboys. F those guys, pretenders. No, I mean I don't.
Too, but we got to keep. It's
not love. It's just it's respect. There's a difference. Like I hate them. I hate the Cowboys ever since the '90s. Because in the '80s I didn't really hate them that much. You know, we got the catch. We got our first Super Bowl. It was like I was too late starting to be a Niners fan to hate the Cowboys like a lot of old heads do. Because like I think it was 72, 73, 74, or 70, something like that. They bounced us from the playoffs 3 years in a row. But I was like 2, 3, and 4, so I don't even remember that. I didn't become a Niners fan until I was 6, and so from then on, I actually, to be honest, all right. So here's something, an admission. I actually rooted for the Cowboys in the playoffs when we were always out of the playoffs, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. My dad's from Dallas, and so he had the games on. He was rooting for the Cowboys, and so I rooted for the Cowboys, and I was happy when they beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl and bummed when they lost to the Steelers. But obviously when the catch happened, I was happy that we beat them. I probably would have been happier if it was another team though. I mean, I had an affinity for them for sure because, and I did the same thing with the Warriors when the Warriors were terrible. I would root for the Showtime Lakers. I rooted for Michael Jordan's Bulls, because the Warriors were never in the postseason. So call me bandwagon, call me whatever you want, but that's just some honest truth there about me.
I was born into it, Ted, so I hate the Cowboys since birth.
There you go. Attaboy. That's better for sure. This Puka has 1 TD. Yeah, but he has like 500 receiving yards in 4 games, man. I mean, and he set the rookie receiving record for the first 2 games against us. I think he had like 17 or 18 catches against us. It was crazy in that Rams game. Purdy is going to shine on the bright lights. I think so. I have much more faith in Purdy to make the right decision. I do, have more faith in Dak to be able to execute it a little bit. Like if he makes the right decision, I think he's got a stronger arm. I think he's a little more athletically gifted, but maybe not. Maybe not since the ankle. I don't know. That's harder to say. Purdy's certainly super quick and super accurate, and he's got that it factor. I've said all offseason, even when I thought Lance could be better. I always said Purdy is a mental giant. I mean, the guy, he does everything you want between the ears. I just worried because he's, limited height, limited arm, limited top speed, but it's starting to look like that may not matter. So, I mean, it certainly hasn't statistically. The stats are insane. I put them in my apology poem, about the efficiency. I mean, even because I tweeted out one time that 2016 Matt Ryan was better. Well, guess what? 2016 Matt Ryan is not better than what Purdy's put up through these 4 games. It's not a whole season, and we haven't played a contender yet. And you could say maybe even all playoff pretenders. We don't know that the Rams will make the playoffs. We don't know that the Steelers will. And clearly, the Cards and Giants are not looking like they're going to make the playoffs. So Some of our parts makes us great. Yeah, we have incredible parts. Best weapons, solid O line. We were the number one D. I guess we're the number 7 D now. Did you see that, Josh?
Really,
We slipped.
it doesn't look like it, but I mean, we're blowing these teams out, right?
Yeah, that's
NFL for
what we
in
were
the
saying earlier.
NFL, we're blowing these teams out NFL wise. Like this, there's no game that was. I mean, the Rams game was pretty close, but I mean, we damn near won that game by 10 points. So I don't. I mean, stats are stats, but they're really producing on the field and really showing that up to this point they are the best team in the NFL, hands down.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I've had 3 content creators on from the Cowboys so far this week. I had Greg on Monday, Ashley Baker on Tuesday, and Cole from Cole's Cowboys on last night. And they all kind of said the same thing, which is Cowboys are wondering kind of the same thing we are. Can Dak come back? And we know Purdy did it against the Raiders New Year's Day. We were down by 10, and he came back and won that game. But let's face it, like the Raiders defense was like last in the league or damn close to it in 2022. So it's a big difference between that and the Cowboys, who I think they're number 1 DVOA right now, defense, because of all the scoring and the turnovers and everything. And they did say the way to attack the defense is the linebackers. And I was saying, well, that could be trouble for you guys then, because that's what Kyle does. In our 21 personnel, you put Juszczyk and CMC and Kittle and Debo and Ayuk out there, and then the linebackers assigned to somebody in the backfield, and all of a sudden they're split out wide, and there's the linebacker out in space. Like, what am I doing out here, man? I'm trying to cover a supposed running back who's better than most slot receivers.
Maybe it's a Kittle game. We haven't had a Kittle breakout game, which I'm waiting for.
Oh man, and he broke their back in the divisional with that circus catch for sure. That was the big play. Kittle's my favorite player, so nothing would make me happier. I thought it was going to be the Cards game, and I don't know if you watched the JTO breakdown, JTO Sullivan, but he was basically saying there was a few times where Kittle was open. One time he may not have been in the read progression where like you take the guy who's open even if you don't like look to a wide open guy in the end zone. If the guy whose first read is open short, you take it. You take what's open. But the other one was over the middle where it looked like maybe he kind of should have taken it. But nonetheless, it kind of explains why maybe we didn't see more of Kittle in the Cards game. And part of it too, I think, is Kittle was injured. And like, we were talking about how Ayuk built up all this great chemistry with Purdy during the camp and the preseason. And Kittle didn't. And so like Kittle, they were super synced up at the end of last year where Purdy hit him 7 times for TDs in the last 4 games. I think that's coming at some point this season. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. So people have this bend, don't break. Yeah, that's what Wilkes likes to play. We were told he was a big blitzer, but so far we haven't seen a lot of that. Sugarnaut says the catch brought me here, and my dad and friends were Cowboy fans. Ended the Tom Landry area. Yeah, like I said. So yeah, my dad was he was a Cowboys fan. He grew up there, but by the time, it's interesting. Really interesting stuff. I just was glad that we beat them and got our first ring. It was great. Like I said, I probably would have been happier if it was another team, but and so then the 80s we were doing our thing, and I'm thinking, oh, we're untouchable, and then all of a sudden the 90s, here comes Emmett and Troy and Irvin, and they just spanked us around a couple of times in a row in that NFC Championship. Then that's when I really learned to hate the Cowboys. That's when I was like, oh, these guys are terrible, and they were so cocky and just awful. And Charles Haley went there, and I was just like, so hopefully Hargrave will be our Haley 2.0, but in a good way. 7th. I don't know what that is.
I think it was for DBO, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, for us. Okay. Okay. Got it. Right. Yeah. Somebody was talking about that in the presser, that we were 7th ranked defense. So, and that's probably because a lot of offense we played aren't that good. Right. Yeah. So even if the stats look okay, it's not as good relative to doing that against a better offense. But we beat up all the pretenders, unlike someone else that didn't. Yeah, we were talking about that, about why the Cowboys, didn't beat the Cards. They were missing 4 linemen, 80% of their starting line, and Diggs went out. And people say, oh, well, Diggs doesn't help against the run because the Cards ran well against the Cowboys. But yeah, he does. Great lockdown corner allows a safety to come in and play the box. And also like if you can pass the ball, that loosens up stuff for the run game. So they got 180 passing yards without Diggs. With Diggs, I'm saying less passing yards and probably less running yards too. So says we only give up 14.5 per. It's the problem of going backwards here in the chat, but it's the only way I can keep track of it and not get totally lost. The only guy I know in the general vicinity likes the NFL as a Cowboys fan, insufferable cabbage liquor. This is over in the UK. I live to crap on him when they inevitably fall short of a Super Bowl. Yes, well, we have two for 1 year longer than them. 29 years for us, 28 for the Cowboys. Big difference is we've been to 7 NFC championships and 2 Super Bowls, but we didn't get the job done. You got to get there to win, though, is what I say.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
When people try and call us the Cowboys, I always like to say that. The only reason this game is hyped up to the 15s is because of storied history, the fact that we've taken them down the last 2 years. No, I mean, I think the reason this game's hyped up is because this might be the best game in the NFL this season.
Possibly,
yeah. I mean, it's us and the Eagles. It's us and the Cowboys. It's Eagles and Cowboys when they play. It's I think the Bills are up there as a top team, and so if they play, the Bills Dolphins was one of the better games. Well, it's supposed to be. It started out anyway.
Miami's always must see TV. They got that speed over there. That's must see TV.
They got 4 of the 5 fastest guys in the league. So
right.
That's crazy. I'm like Stephen A. Smith. I don't hate the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys fans. That's true. Now, I actually, the Cowboys fans, at least the creators I've worked with have been great, but there are some really unrealistic. The one who said that Pollard's better than CMC, I'm like, come on, dude. Like, come on. Like, this is a cry for help, man.
Somebody really said that? They can't do that.
No, it's pretty funny. See, I knew it. Dallas PJs. No, I don't have Dallas PJs. I never had any Dallas gear. It was just in the postseason. Like I said, I bandwagon. If my team's out of it in the playoffs, I'll root for somebody else. Even like the other year, I picked the Suns to root for. Who I really don't like the Suns, but I picked them because they knocked the Lakers out after the Lakers knocked us out of the play-in. I'm like, I'll go bandwagon the Suns, and then they started getting close to the title. I'm like, wait, can the Suns win a ring and Chris Paul not get one? And luckily, the Bucks beat them, so didn't have to worry about it.
Now you guys have Chris Paul.
And that brings up a good point because people have talked about Purdy being a point guard, and Terradome said he thought Purdy was Steph Curry, and I said, Curry's got the best deep shot in all the game, and so that'd be more like a Mahomes or a Josh Allen to me. But I do get it for the facilitator part, and so I said maybe Chris Paul, young Chris Paul, might make sense, where he's got the good mid-range, and that's where Purdy's deadly, that 10 to 19 yards, where he's like 80% completion rate or something. That was last year. I think he's even better this year. I think he was over 90% now.
I love that comparison. That's exactly who I would say. A younger Chris Paul gets the ball to his playmakers, makes the right reads, he's making his team better. I like that. I mean, I love a mid-range game for Purdy. He does it. I love Purdy's game right now and how he's running this offense. So I like that comparison.
Got a lot of out of the crib haters here. Hiroshi board hating the Cowboys. Same with Steve O's Customs. Always hated them.
Me too.
If you really hated the Cowboys, you would have removed that blue star tattoo over here.
No, you have a tattoo too.
Don't make me whip out my man boob here. My man's ear, my bro.
Is that a true story?
No. That's funny. I don't have any tattoos, so that's the truth. That's how old and boring I am. Back when I was young, it was like only sailors and bikers that had tattoos. So now it's like you're uncool. Now you're like uncool if you don't have one. It's right. Things that talk about you got it twisted, right? It's things are twisted on that one 100% since I was a little tyke. Ayuk was good in college. To me, he's better than Harry. Knew he'd be good. I thought so when I watched the tape. It did take him longer to kind of gel than I thought, but I was really happy with the pick when we picked him. But I was surprised. I wanted Ruggs or Lamb or that was it. I wanted Ruggs or Lamb
instead of going the Kinlaw route and then maybe pick
I thought Henry Ruggs would be a great fit for our system.
Yeah.
although not really a great fit for Jimmy G now that I think about it. But I just thought the speed. Well, he wasn't. He did some things in college where he wasn't just a pure deep threat. He caught some stuff. Kind of like Tyreek Hill, where he would catch it short and bust it long.
Yeah.
And so that was why I thought Henry Ruggs would be perfect, and then CeeDee Lamb. The one I didn't want was Judy. I did not want Jerry Judy, and so I never say I'm glad that didn't work out, but it makes me feel better that I was maybe right about him. But the big one, the one that nobody got was Justin Jefferson, right? That was the one.
He just took off, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He's incredible, and Higgins too has done really well. Or
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, yeah, has done really well for the Bengals. Although it seems like they might be trading him soon, so we'll see. Chat royalty up in here, yeah. So I think, I think I've caught up going backwards. So I'm going to pop down to the bottom here and just sort of see where we are. Hiroski says Warner decleats someone. I like that. I think Fred Warner might get a pick in this game. I think maybe that's what I'm going to call Fred Warner pick stack. That's the pick.
He has what does he have? 2 drops this year?
He does.
2 drop picks?
There's kind of one in the Cards game too. I don't know if I call it a drop, but he definitely got his hand on it.
He got his hand on it, and the Steeler ones for sure. I remember that one.
Yeah.
I like that.
More of that juggling, man. He juggles those tennis balls to get the hand-eye.
Get you one, Fred.
Let's go. Get it. Lamb went to Oklahoma, so I can't ride with them. I just liked his yak. And he had good, contested catch ability and ability to make acrobatic catches and yak. And I don't know. I thought Lamb, he wasn't as fast as Ruggs, but I thought he might be the more complete. And I guess, Henry Ruggs, shoot, what a bummer. Just don't drink and drive, folks.
Yeah.
Don't drink and drive. Sailors and bikers brawl. How my parents met. I love it. That's funny. He like a Ronaldo to me. Ah, wow. Is that Ronaldo Nehemiah? Is that what you mean? Skeets? Or you mean Ronaldo, the soccer player?
Cristiano.
There you go. Or, there was the original Ronaldo was Brazilian.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, back in the 90s. Sorry, go Lakers, man. That's all right. We take all kinds here. You don't have to have good taste to be in my audience. But Saturday, you guys were losing to the Dubs, so I don't know. Oh, I don't even know. It's Draymond's got that sprained ankle. I don't know. We'll see.
It's starting already?
Yeah, Saturday. There's a game tonight. There's a game tonight. The T-Wolves and the Mavericks. So Luka and Karl Anthony Towns will square off tonight. And then there's 2 games on Saturday, but the big one, of course, is the Warriors Lakers. So that should be a good one. Drake bats a ball down into Mook's hands. I like that.
I like it.
That. 100%. But who's Mook? Is that Kinlaw? That's his handle, right? Okay, yeah. I love that one. Yeah, Drake Jackson. And they're both good at batting balls. So it could be Kinlaw batting the ball to Drake, too. Honestly, if we're being honest, Kinlaw's a rookie. He had so many batted balls. He couldn't get that pressure, but boy, he was good. And Drake kind of did the same thing as a rookie and is doing it some this year, too. So
Drake Jackson is really good at that. He has a knack for it. He's just an athletic freak.
Bryant Colt bringing up some stats. Dallas has won 8 NFC championship games and been to 8 Super Bowl, only won 5-time champions. So we've been to 7 and won 5. We have a better percentage, but a lower attendance rate. Both teams were 19-1 against the Cowboys, and both teams have 5 rings. So it's totally tied right now. I here's something that I meant. Somebody said earlier about losing. I don't know if they said it was super important to win or it doesn't matter if we won or lost. But I almost wonder if it might not be a bad thing to lose the game to the Cowboys and then address some of these situations we have, like right tackle, corner, defensive end, all the stuff we talk about during the offseason. It seems like it's still, or maybe right guard. If it's not right tackle, right guard. I don't know. It just seems like all the stuff we talked about during the offseason seems like it's still persisting. Like we haven't fixed anything. And almost like if you win, you just keep kind of like going on with the status quo, and a loss might shake us up and be like, oh, damn, we got to do something if we want to make this happen. And what do you think about that? Is that crazy tinfoil hat, Ted, there? Or?
I mean, no, I see where you're coming from, but I don't think we'll ever go into a game saying like, man, maybe we should lose this. It's try to address some of the things that hurt us during this game. I mean, you always want to. I mean, we could still address some of those needs with the ugly win or something that and maybe it's a really good game and you see the corner just got abused or the right guard or right tackle has just given up too many sacks. I mean, we could still go ahead and try to adjust those, after a win. But I see where you're coming from. I definitely see where you're coming from.
Sugarnaut says, love those Cowboys fan TikTok videos. I'm smashing up their TVs. Yeah, buy that Best Buy stock now, folks. It's going to spike on Monday when they have to go replace all those TVs. Let's see here. Randy says, maybe Kinlaw will have a pick 6 to start the game, like he did against the Rams.
That's ideal.
That was down at Levi's South. That would be definitely cool. Love that. And everyone healthy except for Mitchell and Feliciano. Good news. It sounds like Feliciano's progressing through the concussion protocol. And we got Il Manning back. How stoked are we about that? I know I was really bummed that he ended up on the Cards practice squad. And really glad to have Il Manning back. It sounds like they're grooming him for guard, so maybe he'll platoon with Burford. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Nice project. And that's Mitchell hurt again. It's crazy.
Yeah. Man. And he's not even practicing still this week. So maybe by the end of the week, it's only I guess it's Thursday. Still got one more practice maybe where we might see him, but yeah, it's not looking good for Mitchell this week. I think the marquee is December 3rd. Just going to leave that there. December 3rd is the Eagles. Yeah, week 13. Yeah, a lot of people have that. Eagles, like I said, they lost TJ Gardner-Johnson. They lost all their linebackers. They lost Hargrave to us. So not only did they lose him, but like off them, on us. They lost Suamalo. They lost Miles Sanders, which I think Swift is better if he can stay healthy. But they lost Steichen, their offensive coordinator. I think that's hurt. Their offense does not look the same this year. And they lost Gannon, their defensive coordinator. They swore up and down they wouldn't miss him, but it sure seems like the Cards are doing pretty well for a team that people thought were just going to tank. They've had leads in every single game except for against us. So every single game coming into our game, and obviously knocked off the Cowboys. So I don't know. I'm not. I have my top 10. I've got Niners 1, Bills 2 because of Trey White being out. I got Cowboys 3, Eagles 4, Seahawks 5, and then I have to go look. Maybe Lions 6. No, Lions are further back. Ravens 6. I don't know. Chiefs 7, and Lions 8. 10 was like Chargers Jags split, and whoever was left, and just not the Bucks. The Bucks are in a lot of those lists, and I'm not a Bucks believer. So
yeah, I think Baker will fizzle out. I think that the only teams that matter to me is Niners 1, Bills 2, 3. I have the Eagles. 4. I have the Cowboys, and then 5. Who do I have? 5?
Chiefs.
I have Dolphins 5. I think
that was my 9. Dolphins were my 9.
Yeah, the loss was ugly. Yeah,
it's 5 through 9. You could shuffle them all around.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs, they're definitely not in my top 5. I know that for sure.
They need a weapon bad, a receiver.
Yeah, not till they get a weapon. Exactly. Randy says he was my number 3 pick candidate. I'm not sure. It was probably a different conversation now, but it may have had to do with Trey Lance. We'll see. They also had maybe it was something from the draft. Anyway, they also have the most rushing yards against the Cards, so they didn't really need them that much. Well, they would have had more if they had a better offensive line. I mean, this is just basic stuff, and better pass blocking. People say, "Oh, only 2 sacks." Well, 2 sacks is a lot for a game, and you didn't count the pressures and the hurries and the QB hits. So whatever it was with 4 starters and 3 of them practically all pros, it's going to be looking a lot different.
That's always tough. Always tough. 1 starter is tough.
Randy says Warner and Oliver get picks. I'd like to see Oliver get another one. He had one earlier in the season. Maybe it was against the Steelers.
It was a tip pick.
Hiroski says I say Lenore for the pick. I give it to Huff, but all the bullying and body and Dak at all opportunities. There you go. Yeah, I think everyone will be trying to make Dak's life miserable, try and get him rattled. Because when he's rattled, he makes mistakes. That's for sure. We know that. We haven't been dominating time of possession because the way Wilkes plays defense. Yeah, we get teams frustrated trying to score against us. It takes a long time to score, and we just figure they're going to make a mistake if we stretch it and stretch it and stretch it. Who's getting? Okay, so that's who. John Brody. Wow, that's some old stuff.
Old school right there.
Yeah, no doubt. Way before my time. I mean, I was born in '70, but I didn't remember any football from back then. That was a long time ago, but it was amaze balls. All right. I think I'm almost caught up here. Sugar not. That played GK and New Orleans rocked. Yeah.
Yes.
What was it? The Rumble in the Bayou or whatever we called it. That was something special. So
that was a great play.
2-3 guys jumping on him and just carrying him like a bull.
That's why we need Kittle more involved. Let's get him the ball this Sunday night. I want to see another run like that.
So Randy likes what Wilkes does, trying to neutralize the D line, but the DBs and LBs tackle you. It's brutal on receivers and running back. It hurts. Yeah, I guess that's true. Juice will get in the end zone this game. I love that. A little bit of juice check. I mean, he's pretty underutilized for a $5 million player, I would say. I mean, he blocks a lot and he lines up a lot, and we just use him as a decoy to clear running clear routes and stuff. But I would love to see him have some more stats, catches, and TDs and whatever. Best memory of George Kittle, fourth. There you go. Okay, so that's the same one. Debo. So Hiroski says Debo breakout game Sunday night. I don't know about that because of the knee. The ribs are off the injury, but he sure wasn't looking good against the Cards. I'll say that. He was just looking like a decoy.
Yeah.
Dak can't do it. He'll get further behind with a pick. There you go. Bend don't break. Okay, now we're caught back up. All right, I'll fire down to the bottom. Also, Josh, how are you doing on time, man? I want to make sure we've been at this about an hour. I want to make sure I'm not keeping you from anything you need to do. I have a show at 3:30, so I should stop. Oh, maybe as we start to read through some of these, I will, or next time we talk, I'll go and just sort of promote the other show a little bit. But not go, but just, be a little distracted. Rick Diaz in the house says mine's the 49ers, Buffalo Bills, the Detroit Lions, the Colts, Washington. Interesting. I haven't seen Colts and Commanders. I've seen near the top 10 in the NFC, not the NFL. But and the Colts I haven't seen on. But I guess Anthony Richardson, he's pretty impressive for a rookie.
He's done a lot better than I expected. I didn't think he would do good that quick. He's doing pretty good. You can see the talent. You can only get better. So the coach got them.
Brian Culp has Niners, Bills, Eagles, Dolphins, Cowboys, KC, Ravens. Those are like my top 6. It's just a different order. Well, KC might be one out, but yeah, that's a good list.
Yeah.
The Ravens, the interesting about the Ravens is we play them Christmas Day, and I think I might have talked to you about this in the offseason. We're minus 20 rest days this offseason, and they're plus 9. So by then, they're going to be almost 29 more days of rest in like 3.5 months of playing time. Huge advantage for the Ravens coming here to Levi's with all that more rest than us. And also less travel too. We have the second most travel miles as well.
Like always,
yeah. I mean, us, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cards, they're a little bit closer to the East Coast, so they don't get quite as much. Yeah, no, that's a lot. Who cares about individual stats? I don't want you on my team if that's you. Yeah, so I agree, but players do because it affects their contracts. Yeah. So. Facts. I don't know what we're facting. Ted reading the comments backwards is very disheartening. There you go. Yeah, it's just otherwise I'll never catch up. So it's the only way I can catch up. And I've tried doing it the other way, and it doesn't work again. Faithful Do not get ahead. There you go. Eli always hurt too. Yeah. I was saying we should have traded him during the offseason, but I doubt he's worth much because pretty much people already knew that he's injury prone. Let's take 1 week at a time, please. Fair. That's fair. It's good not to look ahead. You don't want to have a trap game. Brock and Mitchell can get it done. There you go. Sam CMC. Is that? Oh no, Sam area. Oh no. No, Brian. No, we do not want to see Sam Darnold
Never.
anytime when we need him. He's fine for the kneel downs and the running out the clock in a blowout. But other than that, no, thank you. Purdy Mason. There, I like that. I like Jordan Mason a lot. Other than the fumbling, that was a little bit of a concern in the preseason and in camp too. He fumbled in camp a fair amount too. 187 in the house says Ted, Dak, or Purdy if Super Bowl line. Who's QB1? I would take Purdy for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially Purdy with our weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, Dak's got that O line. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough. This is tough. It's tough. It's harder. I have them both in that kind of 8 to 12 range right now. And but in this game, I'm picking Purdy to win. So for what that's worth. And I've been saying the score prediction of 24-21. Did you have a score prediction, Josh? For the game?
So I definitely think it's going to come down to a field goal at the end. I think 23-29. Moody first game winning field goal.
23-20.
Yep, 23-20.
I like it. Yeah, I just don't think we're going to score 30 on them. I don't think we'll hold them to the low teens. I could see, like I said, 24-21. I could see like 21-17.
Yeah.
I could see 21-20. I think it's going to be close, and I think it's going to be not super high scoring, but we'll see. Interesting. Anything could happen. Yeah, any given Sunday, that's for sure. That's definitely true. I said Purdy, Mitchell, or Sam CMC.
Purdy Mitchell.
Yeah, I'd take Purdy and Mitchell over Sam and CMC. Yeah, as great as CMC is, I don't trust Sam Darnold, man. I don't. I think we made a huge mistake. But hopefully we never have to find out. That's my knock on wood there. Fred says it's at least 1-0 every game they go into. There you go. Love my San Francisco 49ers. No one else. Same here. I like the Bills a little bit. I like Josh Allen, but that's an AFC team, and I don't love any other team. I'm not like hugely rooting for them, but all things equal, give them a little bit of respect. Whatever you may be, my faithful friends, love you guys. Let's go Niners. There we go. Yeah. CMC throws a pass, according to Randy Daytona, just like. Funny, my first ever stream was the week after we swept the Rams last year, and CMC ran through and caught TDs against them.
He threw it to Juwan Jennings. Was that
I don't remember who he threw it to. It might have been Jennings. Yeah, might have been. Honestly, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. Someone will have to look that up. Hello, faithful. North Faithful. Nice. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it. And keep hammering nails in the Cowboys' coffin. Yeah, no doubt about it. Last 2 seasons in a row, we sent them packing out of the playoffs. Mook's beam is bigger than yours, Ted. Yeah, Mook is a big boy. Actually, I outweigh him. I think he's down below 3 biscuits now. And I'm a little north of 300 right now, but working on getting down. I did hit the rowing machine today, and I have been eating a little more healthily. So hopefully we got like the beam. That was from the whole Warriors and Kings.
Yeah.
Randy pretended to be a Kings fan, even though he's really a Pistons fan. He was griefing me the whole time. So Lakers all day, like the beam. Oh man, these guys are on it. Mook Dog, first Niner with a sack. Hargrave, love it. Yeah, he was the only one with the sack against the Cards. Warriors should win that game. I don't know. I think the Lakers got better this offseason, and
yeah, they did.
I don't think the Warriors really did, and I think Draymond sprained his ankle. So I actually, if Draymond doesn't play, there's no chance no way we're going to beat the Lakers without Dre. I don't think, but I don't know. Maybe some of those youngsters can help out. We got Pods from Santa Clara U, and there's another young guy that I liked.
I like him.
You like Podzinski?
Yeah. 6'7", can dribble the ball. I like him.
Cool. All right, let me scoot to the bottom here again. Rick says, you never know, anything can happen. That's true. Hat trick game. There you go. Make it 3-0. I love that. Although the real one we want is in the playoffs, but hey, I'll take. And I did pick the Niners and the Cowboys to be in the NFC Championship game before the season started too. So that's kind of interesting. CMC threw a pass against the Rams. Yeah, he did, and it was for a TD. It was glorious, and it was so great because the Rams tried to get CMC, and they made a similar offer to ours. I think we offered a 2, 3, and 4, and then a 5th in the 2023 draft, and they offered like the same thing, but instead of the 4th in, or anyway, whatever the 4th that we offered, they offered Akers, and they didn't want Akers, and so the Panthers. So that's why we got CMC, and then it was so great to see McVay. Like he crushed them, and they were just like crestfallen. They were so bummed that they missed out, and now it's like looking like one of the greatest trades ever. I mean that and Trent Williams for a 3rd and a 5th. I mean,
that's
why
great.
can't you even train with us? I'd be just like, whatever they say, I'd be like, more, whatever it is, give me more. Because whatever you're saying, you're getting over on me clearly, right? I mean, it's so obvious. 187 says, okay, just checking Ted. Yeah, he's holding my feet to the fire because I was a Purdy doubter. I still have some doubts about Purdy, but I'm ready to crown him for the first 4 games. And say I was wrong about the first 4 games. I mean, the stats he's putting up are incredible. Like I said, we haven't played a contender and maybe only playoff pretenders, but nonetheless, the numbers. I in my apology poem that I put together, I picked some stats and put them in there, including that Matt Ryan one and the efficiency. And there's just some stuff that's he's first in all these categories. It's hard to ignore. I don't think he's the best quarterback, but like I said, I think 8 to 12 is fair. Maybe that'll come up soon too. Like I said, we'll see. So I think we've caught back up. Oh, read my question, Teddy said. So let's see. No, I think I must have read it. I think since then. So let's scoot to the bottom. Something happened there. Actually, okay. So he says, "Wow, Ted." Yeah, you can see it on my timeline. It was from I think yesterday morning. I even quote tweeted it, so you don't have to scroll as far down to find it on the timeline. I just said, for those who wanted me to apologize, here it is for weeks 1 through 4. At least here you go. Said you didn't crown Purdy in 2022. No, I didn't, because we didn't get it done in 2022. I mean, I know he got injured, but that's a concern for me with Purdy. He's played reckless for a lot of his career, and I think it caught up with him. Not necessarily the play where it happened, but like even the play where it happened, like Purdy, he could have stepped up in the pocket. He could have thrown with anticipation. He could have thrown the ball away. He could have just looked to see that Hassan Reddick was coming, and he didn't do any of those things. And we love his poise. I love his poise. That's one of the things. There's lots to love about Purdy. But it's also a really scary thing if you're always focused on the field, because then we saw it happening with TJ Watt week 1, where here comes TJ Watt around the edge. Purdy has no clue, no internal clock. And luckily TJ went for the ball and not his arm, or it could have been a very similar situation. So yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, respect for being honest. Yeah, I always, I try to always be honest. That's me. I don't lie. You won't see me doubling back on things. Every now and then I'll change a stance, like I did on Jimmy G, week 3 of 2021 after Green Bay. I was done with Jimmy G after that. But you'll know it, and it will be definitive. It won't be like some sneaking around it. But enough about me. Let's he's not going to put a score in this game. There you go. That's fair. So the 49ers got to display 49ers style football. That's all. Yeah. We got to run it. We got to stop the run. got to, have the quick passes and hopefully air it out downfield a little bit too. Keep the defense honest. That was the thing I loved about the Cards game. It's going to be a good game, but I'm not putting row score. I'm not putting. Okay. Detroit fan here, baby. Anger sharks are always swimming around in my head. Well, I don't know much about the Pistons this season, but say good luck to you. You never know; anything can happen. Exactly. So yeah, we've seen that hat trick. Okay, so we're caught up. So yeah, so maybe this is a good time to start putting a wrap on things. We've been going for an hour 15. I'll just say, Josh, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me. Always
a lot of fun. And we'll have to do it again sometime before too long. And if you want to host on your channel, we can stream to my channel from your channel too, which however you prefer is totally fine with me. I don't want to hog you to my channel.
Yeah, no worries.
But I'm glad we were able to stream to yours. Everybody, make sure you get over to Josh's channel, give him a like and subscribe, and follow his stuff. I probably should have said during the show, like, open up another browser. If you're on a browser, open up another tab. You can watch both shows at the same time. If you're on a phone, you can watch it on your tablet. Also, real quick, I should do a quick commercial break. I'm sponsored now. I have a new sponsor for the show called TTG, the Travel Stud Group. They are a hospitality and retail logistics company. And so basically they do transportation and warehousing for brick and mortar. They do fixed furniture and equipment. That's FFE. They also do operating supplies and equipment, OSE programs, new store openings, rollouts, relocations, decommissions. From the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between, Travelstead has you covered. Let us know how we can help you via air, land, or sea. So yeah, it's not really business to business, or it isn't business to consumer, it's business to business. But if you're in retail or hospitality, they'll help you with the back end of your business to get things from A to B and set up and looking nice. And those types of things go wrong a lot, and that's just the nature of the beast. But they have, support here in the US. It's not like you call and you don't know where this person is and they have no idea anything about your business. These are folks going through the same things as you and me. So Henry and Nick are great folks there at Travelstead, the Travelstead Group. So their website is in the description of the show, my Twitter bio, and also in my YouTube about page. It's also on Insta and Facebook if you follow me there. So sorry for the commercial break, but got to pay the bills. And I'll just say, thanks to Josh for coming out. It was a lot of fun. I'll say go Niners, beat the Cowboys. And I'll just say peace.